Welcome to the podcast, The Food Apothecary, food that heals your soul. Now you must be thinking, why my hair are wet? Because it reflects today's podcast that we're taking a fresh take on some stuff. You will be hearing from my friend Natasha, who's a really good friend of mine, and she is actually gonna address the global talent acquisition position and her own side hustle. Please tune in. So, hello Natasha, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Angela?
Good, good. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure, actually. So tell me about you, about your career and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot going on. So, myself, Natasha, I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a talent acquisition partner. So, career wise, I actually started my career, I want to say 2013, right out of college. So, I had an interest in HR given my courses during my business admin diploma, and really found, I did very well with HR courses there. Of course, you get a broad spectrum. So one of my classes was recruitment. And I found it really interesting that, when you hire someone, there's just more than just an interview. There's so much more that goes into screening and truly understanding what is the experience and going through technical rounds and, looking for experiences. So most of my career, I want to say, has, prior to my talent acquisition, was customer service sales. So, I've been pretty good with people, speaking with people and connecting with them. So I just felt like it was a natural transition. During my internship, so my last year at my college, I decided to do my internship at a recruitment agency. And this was actually owned by a family friend. So, she was someone that I looked up to. I saw like this strong, independent woman, can do it all, has her own business. I was like, I used to call her Didi. I still call her Didi, Didi means sister in our language. Didi, like, what do you do? Like, I'm curious to know, like, what do you do? I run a recruitment firm. Okay, so what is that? And she kind of explained to me, they go out and they headhunt and they look for business, etc. So so agency side is more on the sales side, whereas the in-house is more internal acquisition of talent. So she was on the agency side. So I was like, you know what? I want to learn what you do. I want to do what you do. So, I was given an opportunity to work on some mandates that she had, got good exposure. And then from there, my career just kind of took off. I did start off most of my career on the agency side. It was more sales, more numbers, more transactional, I want to say. And when I say transactional, was just, hey, talking to the hiring manager of a company, getting the requirements, going out, finding the candidate, placing them, and just kind of backing off, right? It was kind of very transactional, very salesy. Then I really started to want to learn more internal, wanted to learn, what are some of the things that it takes to keep an employee happy, to really hire and truly learn the culture of a company and be a true partner. That's what I wanted to do. So when I moved to Montreal from Toronto, that was my goal. I was like, I want to get out of the agency world. I've gotten my exposure. Now it's time to truly get into internal. So here we are, fast forward. I've been in as an internal talent acquisition. I've worked for several companies, mostly I want to say mid-sized companies that are growing. Yeah, since 2018, I want to say I've had that exposure. And today my role is a talent acquisition global partner. So I hire globally for the company that I work for. And yeah, here we are.
Wow. So you have experience in it as an outsider, like, hiring for other companies and within the company to know the culture and everything like that.
Yes.
So you already explained like how to start in that career, but like how to retain that career? Because I know during COVID it was difficult and all that. Like, how did you able to retain it?
That's a really great question, Angela. I actually got laid off twice during COVID. So the company that I was working for, obviously when, COVID hit, I kind of got this feeling that, when something like this happens, the first thing that happens during a company is that they go on a hiring freeze. They don't hire, there's so much uncertainty, right?
Mhm.
So hiring freeze kind of came, and I did speak to my manager. I was like, you know what? I know in this situation, first people to get impacted are recruitment. So that happened. So started working from home. And then obviously one day I got a call Natasha, we're going on a hiring freeze. Because of that, we have to kind of, lay you off short term and then bring you back when things kind of get back to normal. So I did get laid off during that time. And then I was brought back in and then laid off again. It was just so much uncertainty in the job market at that time during 2020. I was fortunate enough to have contacts on the recruitment side firm. So the recruitment firm that I used to work in back in Toronto, like 2016, I kept in touch with a lot of my internal contacts who reached out to me and said, hey, there's a company, it's 100% remote, English speaking. Obviously, I don't speak French. So 100% English speaking. They're looking for a 3-month contract, looking for a recruiter to hire. This company is growing. I want to say, Angela, I lucked out in this company. It was like a dream, working from home, 100%, flexible hours, just amazing team. I hired for them in the first 3 months that I was there. They were growing and I hired for them. Come end of my contract, I was hired full time and I'm still here. It's been over 2.5 years. So working for growing companies was the key. My company that I work for actually adapted to the global remote working trend that was going on before COVID even hit. So it just happened to be that they adapted very well and we were able to grow the team. We were able to the company. And yeah, like I said, I've been here for over 2.5 years and I've been able to retain myself in a growing company.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm proud of you, honestly, for
Thank
saying that
you.
you were laid off twice, and then how you kept your position.
Yeah.
So, during your whole career of being in talent acquisition, now you're global talent acquisition, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So what are the qualities that you need to have to somebody to retain that position or even to get into that?
In terms of global or just talent acquisition
Just
in
talent
general?
acquisition in general.
Yeah, just to retain that, I want to say having a network. So there's a lot of tools, a lot of things that you can do. First of all, I think a lot of it has to do with your own personality. I find that just a trend that I've noticed, anyone that I've noticed that's in talent acquisition, a lot of us are extroverts, meaning when we speak to people, we feed off their energy. Right. So we need to have that type of profile where you're an extrovert, you're okay reaching out to others. So truly having a network, either it's friends, professional network, a huge tool that I like to use is LinkedIn. So constantly doing outreaches, building relationships, posting on LinkedIn, hey, I'm looking for XYZ, building a pipeline. So always just having that network of people and staying on top of things, being proactive. So truly connecting with hiring managers, which are your clients in this case, reaching out to them like, hey, what's coming up? Or like, what are some of your needs? How's your team going to grow? How is your team going to change the structure? So just always knowing, being proactive more than reactive, I want to say, because when you're reactive, like when you have to wait for someone to give you the work, it takes that much more longer. So to truly be successful is, of course, having these qualities and just knowing who to reach out to at the right time.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And what are some of the drawbacks you would say working in this talent acquisition position?
Some of the drawbacks are, sometimes we do have clients who are hiring managers who can truly test your patience in a lot of ways. And you have to hold them accountable. I want to say, what I mean by accountable is that when you are working together, it's a partnership, right? And they have to give you the right things, the right information for you to go out and find this talent for their team. So if they're not giving the information, you're not receiving and you're not finding the right talent for them. So it's a lot of back and forth. It's getting the feedback like, hey, you've met with this candidate. What's your feedback? Oh, this person, no. Okay, that doesn't mean anything to me. Give me feedback. How can I tweak my search? So some of the drawbacks is sometimes the clients can exhaust you, and also even candidates sometimes they exhaust you too, because they're like go go go, like they're really interested in the role, but all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm not interested anymore. So there's a lot of uncertainty at times because remember, they're not only interviewing for your job that you have posted, they're also interviewing for other opportunities. Sometimes other companies are quicker to move on them. So it's, I don't want to say it's a numbers game, but truly, like, time is a big key player when it comes to being successful in this role. And if you're not following certain rules or certain, if you're not taking, I want to say, like, what's that word I'm looking for? advice from your talent acquisition partner, you will delay the process. So I want to say one of the drawbacks is like working with clients that are not, you can't hold them accountable. Also, when the economy kind of changes, right? And that's one of the things too, where sometimes things happen. Company is going through a change because the economy, and you're working on a role, you're actively interviewing, you're putting a candidate through the process, and all of a sudden it's like, nope, role is being put on hold. We can't hire anymore. We don't have the budget. So sometimes that kind of not brings you down, but it's almost like, if this keeps happening, am I really needed in this role? So I want to say that sometimes the uncertainty kind of makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's part of the role.
Wow. Yeah, you remind me of the places like, let's say if I go for a job interview on like Tuesday, and if I don't hear by Friday, I know it's a no-go.
Yeah.
As a candidate, I know it's a no-go, then I just move on to another one. It could be no-go, it could be not no-go, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes like as a recruiter or like the company takes time and whatever, you know.
Yeah. A lot happens behind the scenes, Angela. Like sometimes it could be the smallest thing, like hiring manager is busy, or they're gone on vacation, or they're working on other priorities. The radio silence truly kills I feel like kills the excitement sometimes, right? Like on if you're I try to put myself in the candidate's shoes. Like I want to give them feedback right away. And for me, like my personal thing is for me to be very successful in my role and to kind of maintain and build that relationship with my candidates is being transparent. And I always, whenever I have my interviews, like my first phone screens, is hey, if we move forward or not, I always get back. I don't like to leave candidates in a dark place. I think it's horrible. I think it's absolutely disrespectful. I put myself in their shoes. So I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because so many times, like, you know, you give an interview and you don't hear from them for like weeks. So then as a candidate, you don't know if you should look for another job or because this is probably the place you really wanted to work, you
Yeah.
know? Then you're, oh my God, like then all of a sudden you see they already hired someone. Then as a candidate, you're like disheartened too. Like the least you could do, just inform me.
Yeah. And you know, Angela, what you know what's funny? I actually judge too. I'll give you an example. I was reached out by a company here in Montreal. They're looking for talent acquisition. I'm not actively looking, I'm not active in the market, but it's been a while since I've interviewed, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to see what's out there in the market because the market is so unstable right now. Anyone that I'm interviewing these days is, oh, you know, whenever I ask, you know, why are you looking for a new job? What was your reason for leaving? Layoff, layoff. Like the trend has been companies are laying off, right? Like Google, Shopify, like all these big companies are laying off. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to entertain this. I'm just curious to know how is this role different from what I'm doing? What's out there in the market? I interviewed with this company the week before, or maybe even the week before that. So maybe 2 weeks ago. It's been radio silence. I have not heard back from the talent acquisition person. Is that a company that I want to work for? Is that a company that I want to work with to follow these types of behaviors that where they just leave the candidate hanging?
Yeah.
I'm judging and I'm learning from these behaviors. I'm learning from these practices. So it's already a no in my mind. If they reach out, I don't want to work with them. No. Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, because I will do the same thing because sometimes like I want to work with the company, but then I don't hear back. Then I'm like, hey, you know what? Maybe they went forward with like they go forward with some other employee, you know, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, you know.
But let me know.
Yeah, just
Let me
like
know.
let me know exactly. Just like
Yeah.
a casual email, like, you know, thank you for your interest, you know, and but we have decided to go forward with another candidate. That's
Yeah.
it.
It's common courtesy. It's common courtesy to close a loop. I find you're building relationships because if you're not going to hire this person today, you might need them tomorrow. You might need them in a different role. And this has happened to me where I met someone, you know, I interviewed someone at a different company, but I actually hired them at a different company when I was at a different role. So it's building that relationship. Like I said, that's the key in recruitment. And just, you know, if companies need to really change their, and I think they have changed their mindset, but a lot of companies have not adapted or adopted this, is that yes, you're interviewing the candidate, but you're forgetting the candidate is also interviewing you.
Yeah.
They're interviewing your culture. They're interviewing how are you responding to them. They're interviewing how are you speaking about the company and how is your interview process because it reflects, right? So you're right for thinking that, and you had to make the judgment call for yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I tell my friends too, like when they're like, oh yeah, I went for an interview, I'm like, by Friday, if you don't hear anything, just move on.
Yeah, or follow up, right? I feel like following up also helps. So just follow up with the recruiter that you're working with. Just find out what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea too. Okay, and I wanted to touch base on your side hustle.
Yes,
Yes,
my side hustle. What do
yes,
you want to know?
Trinket by Tashi.
Yes,
So
Trinkets by
tell,
Tashi. Yeah.
okay, tell me the inspiration behind it.
So as you already know, Angela, I'm from Toronto, born and raised there, Brampton specifically, huge Indian community, Indian hub. The wedding industry is massive there. When I say massive, I mean like there's so many vendors for everything that you need for the
Mhm.
wedding, right? Whether it's clothing, jewelry, services like DJ, tents outside, banquet halls, etc. I've thought about, once in a while that, I want to do something on my own, just kind of see like what's happening, right? But I was always afraid to enter the Toronto market because there's so much competition. There's so many big players. I just didn't know where to start from. I moved to Montreal in 2017 after I got married. Didn't know anyone here. We don't have family. I don't know anybody. So I really wanted to see what was already here. I thought maybe, you know what? Toronto is like, I feel like 10 steps ahead of Montreal when it comes to trends and all of that, when it comes to our Indian community, wedding industry. It could be anything around the Indian industry. So I was like, you know what? I think this is maybe my right time to kind of enter and see if I can make my mark here. Right. And the biggest thing for me was truly understanding where is my community. I'm huge on that. Like for me, it's important for me to be close to my people. I want to be connected to my culture. I want to know where are these people. So the first thing that I did before I did anything, I think, and this is me coming from like no background and having a business or anything. I was like, maybe I should do some research. So
Mhm.
my way of doing research was just timing was right. I went to a Shadi show here in Montreal.
Okay, yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
Yes. So went to the Shadi show. This was like back in 2018 or 2018, I want to say. Went to the Shadi show and I went to go see who were the key players in the industry here. Because 2017 I got married, so 2016 I was doing a lot of shadi shows in Toronto, so I knew all the vendors there, but I wanted to see who was here. So that was like my starting point. So I went to go see, what are the pricing. So I actually went to go visit a lot of jewelry vendors. And why jewelry? Maybe I'll start with that. So my family is from a jeweler background. So I have a huge interest in jewelry. My own personal connection, I have a lot of jewelry, like my collection, sorry, I have a lot of jewelry, and my mom as well. So something that I really liked. And I felt like with jewelry, you can never, it's one size fits all, I find. With clothing, it's a little bit more complicated where you take measurements and sometimes a thread, like I felt like I didn't have the time to deal with that. So maybe jewelry was the best way to go, like a starting point. So went to the Shadi show, checked out all the vendors, asked about the pricing, the price point. I was like, you know what, this is kind of interesting because I feel like I can work at here. So end of 2018, 2019, I went to India and I had my best friend's wedding. So I took that opportunity to go to India and actually buy jewelry. Like I went to my vendors, I handpicked every single jewelry piece
Wow.
and looked at the quality. It was something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to make sure the quality was right because if something that I wouldn't wear, I would not sell it. I need to believe in what I sell, right? So I looked at each piece of jewelry, brought it back with me. Half of it was actually shipped because I bought too much. And I just dived right in, thought of a name. I took a lot of back and forth, created my own Instagram page. I knew that was like the right place to go to start. And I really lucked out, Angela, because this girl that I know, her name is Ashwarya Dar. She's actually a pretty big hair and makeup artist here. She actually got me ready for my e-shoot
Oh,
here.
wow. Okay.
And I happened to add her. I posted on my personal Instagram that something interesting is coming, asked people to join my other page. And she was the first person to come to my house when I just and I kid you not, I laid out all my jewelry on my couch, on tables. I just created like this bazaar, like a market in my condo. And I was like, I don't know how to start. created like I had like my list going on, like with my pricing and all of that, like everything. It took time, but and she was my first customer. And she brought a friend and they bought a lot of jewelry from me. Like that was like my first customer, right? And then when she posted on her Instagram, that's when I got started getting a lot of requests, a lot of follows.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so 2019 was the year that I started, and here we are, 2023.
Wow, wow, wow. I can't believe that you started like from your couch to
From
begin. Yeah,
pretty much my couch. Yep.
yeah.
My living room. I remember sitting there looking at each piece of jewelry and pricing and putting tags on it. It took time, but I learned a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're gonna run short on time, so I'm just gonna ask you one more thing.
Nice.
Now you're a mother, you're talent acquisition,
Yep.
you're doing trinkets by Tashi, you have a husband, you have in-laws, you have a million other responsibility that I don't even know.
Yeah.
How are you managing to thrive in your career? Whether it's trinkets by Tashi or whether it's like, let's say, as a talent acquisition or at home.
Yeah. Yeah. Great question. Thank goodness for Canadian maternity leave, parental leave.
Yes.
I needed that 1 year one-on-one with my son. I felt like that was enough break for me to raise my son, get out of postpartum. It
Mm.
takes time, right? 6 months being postpartum, it was tough. And I'm alone here. I don't have family. So raising my son with my husband and just taking care of my mental health as well. I went back to work early, like maybe 2 weeks before, which is, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but giving up 2 weeks of your maternity leave is a big thing for some moms because I wanted to get back. I wanted to stimulate my mind again. That's important for me. I wanted to get back, make a difference, make an impact in the real world. My son's going to be there. My son's going to keep growing. He's going to keep flourishing. He's going to keep developing, but I needed to get back because I need to put my mental health first. So that was my main priority. And so, in terms of my career, I don't plan on letting go of my career when it comes to talent acquisition. It's very important to me that I am a good role model for my children. I only have a son. I hope, God willing, I have a daughter next, but I want to be that inspiration. I want to be that role model for them that my mom has a career.
Mm.
Our mothers, our generation is different from, our parents. They were more the labor, just kind of getting by. They worked very, very hard to bring us, immigrant parents. I've seen my mom working. I've seen her being a full-time mom. I could do that if I got paid. I would love to do that. I was just telling my husband yesterday, someone paid me to take care of a home or just being a mom, I would take it. But I know I would very quickly get exhausted by that because I need my brain stimulated. So I want to keep working. I want to keep growing myself in talent acquisition, recruitment, HR, whatever, wherever it takes me. I might even one day own my own agency. I don't know because this is a skill that I'm going to keep with me my entire life. In terms of my trinkets, I feel like I'm not going to say I'm done, but I genuinely don't have time for it. It's a full-time job for sure. Connecting with vendors, bringing in the shipment. The biggest I want to say is actually posting on Instagram, creating posts, taking pictures, doing sales, and all of that. Between all of this, I just don't have the time to do it anymore. Or maybe I've lost my drive to do it because I'm just so busy with my son. I'm busy growing with him, learning and seeing the way he's developing. And I'm actually giving, not I don't want to say giving away, but I'm transferring my trinkets by Tashi to my mom. Like I
Wow.
said, we come from the jewelry background, and now that she has bought her own home, she is well settled. I want her to take over and I want her to grow my business. I want her to take it to Toronto in that market, and I want her to boom, like I want her to grow, and I'm going to help her. I want to be there on the sidelines and say, "Mom, do this. Let me help you," because I know she has it in her to do it. She's done it before. And yeah, and maybe one day I might expand with her or I might revisit again, but right now it's time to take a back seat and focus on my career and being a full-time mom and a wife. Something that I really enjoy. Love seeing my son flourish, and every day he's just, that's something different, and it's just like I don't want to miss that. I don't want to miss it while I'm doing a million other things. I want to be there.
You know, Natasha, I really am really proud of you for knowing when to take a step back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Sometimes you want your like hands in like 10 different things, but I think the biggest thing you need to do is take a step back and look at your mental health. How much capacity do you really have to do all these things? And if you're giving 10% to everything, you're never going to fulfill your wants more than anything. You have to just say it's okay to let go. That time will come. I've also given up like my health and fitness routine. I'm huge in like working out, eating well. I'm doing the best I can, at the same time fulfilling my roles, which are more important, and also, like I said, own mental health.
It's always about where the torch needs to be pointed right now.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for today's episode.
Thank
And
you.
next time we will have you, we'll talk more about the culture because we have the same culture.
Yes,
Yeah,
we do. Thank you so much, Angela.
This was today's episode, and I hope you took some notes. I hope you get to know Natasha a little bit because she will be back to our podcast more often than usual. And one thing I appreciate about her, that she knew when she needs to back up and how much she can take and how much she cannot take. Please tune in every Thursday at Spotify, Ghana, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts to listen to the new episode of The Food Apothecary, food that heals your soul. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Food Apothecary. Thank you so much.